see Bayoki's back.
Village Kids.
Hi, you're listening to Village Kids. I'm Julia.
I'm Erin.
I'm Annika.
And I'm Marga.
So for today's episode, we're talking about our 2020 recap. So how did 2020 treat you guys? Who wants to start?
It's a loaded question.
Oh, this is our last episode as well for this year.
Oh,
I did not realize that. Okay.
Welcome.
Oh wow, that
This
was fast,
year
no?
has felt
Like
like
even
50
though
I feel like this year has felt like 50 years.
no, but
It aged us.
I feel like the last few months have also just kind of snowballed in so many ways. Like we had that never-ending lockdown. Actually, we're still technically in.
Ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the year is about to end. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but like this year has felt like a year of growth, but also non-growth. Like 5 years, but at the same time, like a second.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And it's been like a lot of time to self. I don't know, like everything we've done or everything that we've accomplished, somewhat we've had to do it in our own spaces. Of course, digital, whatever, like FaceTime and Zoom, of course, has bridged that for us. Like we've been able to celebrate things together, but at the end of the day, you press leave room, leave chat or whatever, and you're back to being by yourself, which is like it's something that I had to grapple with a lot, but it's very interesting. I think we had to do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this. When the camera's off, everyone's just talking.
When do we jump in?
I know.
I was waiting for one of you to give it
Like a second or two.
For me, career-wise, okay, so I was set to go in a certain direction career-wise, and I expected to learn specific skills, like soft skills, because of that direction I was going towards. And when COVID hit, we had to, like COVID buzzword alert, but we had to pivot. And I feel like because of that pivot, I missed out on a lot of the skills that I felt like I was supposed to learn, but also at the same time, a lot of other opportunities fell into my lap. But, as previously mentioned, I am a Virgo, and when things don't go as planned, I kind of malfunction for a bit. So like, it's like I function, but I just go on autopilot and I get shit done. But mentally, I'm still like, no, bring me back. Yeah, so that really messed me up for a while there because I was like so set. Like, I think maybe October of 2019, I already had a path set for me. Like physically, I was supposed to shuttle back and forth from Manila and Davao. But then that couldn't happen. Suddenly I'm here full time and I didn't expect that at all. Yeah, that just really threw me in for a loop there. Like, what now?
Yeah.
I can relate somewhat, but opposite to you, unlike you coming into this year, I didn't really have as much. For me, a lot of things were up in the air. Like I was graduating, and I didn't know what was going to be next. And when I got to Davao, I knew like, okay, for sure, these 3 months, this is like my break time. I'll spend it with my sister and a lot of family time, and then the up in the air and I looked forward to that break. Like, come to think of it, and I'm sure you guys can also relate, like being in school for so long.
Yeah.
You start to fantasize about like, oh, I'm always looking forward to the time when I don't have any work to do, none of that stuff, just all like me time. because it's been so long since I've had that. And then here it finally is, 3 months, and then it prolongs. And initially I'm just like, oh, okay, that's great. I get to buy myself some time to think about what I'm gonna do next. So that was something that at first I embraced, I guess. And then because all free time, that's all I've wanted.
Yeah.
And then because of the pandemic, like that was prolonged for longer than I knew, or longer than I could imagine. I don't know, it just made me realize how when I'm so busy, I tend to think that, oh, the source of my unhappiness is all of the work that I'm doing.
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
suddenly there's none of that, but there's still that stress for in. So it's this year has really made me realize that no, I don't want to be doing nothing or fantasizing about doing nothing. I want to have a purpose. Like there needs
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
some kind of goal. So if
Mhm.
anything, that's what this year has kind of taught me.
How about
Yeah,
you,
that's a good
Jules?
point.
Actually, the whole time I was like, what happened this year? Because
Did anything happen?
like exactly, so much has happened. I don't know where to
Yeah.
start, or like I forgot what there was a lot of phases. Like we talked in a previous episode. We had the gaming phase. Like we're so happy that
Mm-hmm.
we have all this time in our hands, and then the freaking out stage. And then now where it's just like, wow, this has been going on for 9 months, or I don't know how many months now. And then if you ask me now, like the recap of my 2020 was so random.
So yeah, definitely.
That's the
Yeah.
perfect word to describe
Definitely.
2020.
It's so random. I watched one of the sermons. They were talking about how 2020 was like the biggest breakthrough for their ministry. And I'm like, how? Because church is closed and all these people are mostly, I don't know, like, like how tough times also like questions, you question God and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
like that. But like, it was so amazing to hear like it was the biggest breakthrough for their ministry, for their church. And then he expounded on it because other churches began closing, but they were still open. So people were just finding churches to go to for
Oh.
help, to reach out, to have a community, to feel a bit normal. So I was like, oh wow, okay. And then he was talking about how we should remember how blessed we are this year too, like being able to have food in the fridge. Because a lot of people are like, oh, we don't get to travel, we can't
Yeah.
we can't go to this and that. But we have to remind ourselves like how blessed we are, like the protection God has given us throughout this whole 9 months of the pandemic, how he transformed us.
Like that's so real as well. I think everyone at this point in time, like in this year, has questioned like, what happened? Like what?
Right? At one point, I'm like, oh, did that happen this year?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Annika said this year felt so long, but also so fast.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to put it in words, but like, wow, we were transformed in a different way. Not technically how we would want it to be, but like, there were some growth during this time. I don't know how that relates to our question, but that's all I have to say.
That's 2020 for you.
I feel you. I feel you. I think for me, I think if I were to, I've shared this like line with you quite a bit. It's from Morgan Harper Nichols, and I think I sent the whole excerpt to you guys at a
I
certain
love
point.
that so
Yeah,
much.
Yeah, that
and
was so good.
there's that line, like let this season teach you. And I think for me, I just really love just the whole idea or concept behind that whole excerpt actually, but that line, like it's still my background up to this point in time just because I like the reminder. um so many things have happened this 2020, whether it was a pandemic or not. It would have been such a pivot.
If I could
Pivotal.
take a shot for every time I heard that word in a webinar.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like either way, Annika and I think everyone had plans. Like every year, everyone has plans. And for me, like if I were to just look at the milestones that I went through, like I just bulldozed through them actually. Like
Yeah.
I bulldozed to the point that I kind of didn't even like credit them anymore. I was just like, okay, it's done. We moved forward. So there's like the whole graduating, first job, still at it, and and just like moving. Like I've mentioned this in the previous episodes,
Episode.
but like I moved like 4 times in during lockdown, and I think just the idea is that I kind of just put them down a little bit now because I feel like there's so many other things going on that the fact that I'm paying for things in life, I laugh at it sometimes because I'm just like, wow, okay, I'm not in school anymore. I'm not as dependent as I was how many like at the start of the year, and it's just so crazy how wow it all happened this year. It wasn't an ease at all. It wasn't like easing into adulthood. It was like okay at a certain point in
Thrown at
time.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uppercut.
Thrown into the water.
bye.
Swim.
And it's something I was grateful for. I agree with Julia so much in the sense that I feel like I was only able to get through because yes, there is a certain level of protection that provides me with the confidence every day to be able to do things willingly, voluntarily, whatever. And I'm very aware of that. I hope that because of that, I'm able to do more in life also, just because I feel like I have a lot to give back. But definitely 2020, I have that huge question mark in my mind, like how just I don't know how the months went through, how the weeks went through. Every single day it's always this idea of what am I doing? Is this going to my greater purpose in life,
Oh
similar
my
to what
gosh,
Erin
I feel you
mentioned.
so
And
much.
it's just like, you just have to keep going. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm reaching the weekend. When the weekend ends, oh no, it's almost Monday. Am I ready for Monday? And then
Right, yeah.
the holidays. And I'm just like, what am I going to do in the holidays? Like, what am I going to do for New Year? And that's a whole nother episode. But spoiler. Yeah, but I so agree with everyone here. 2020, it's such a WT, insert the other letter type of year, asterisk and all, right? And I don't know, did it treat me bad? I don't think so because I feel like it treated everyone the way that it kind of did. Like, I don't think I'm any worse. Like I feel like everyone went through it in their own manner. Like definitely we pray for the people who are still like recuperating from everything, and we hope that we can get through this. I also have a lot to be grateful for, and I thank God that all of you guys are okay at this point in time, that families are getting through as well. And I don't know, similar with Julia, I just hope that we get through this whole year with less surprises na. Tapos na tayo, please. Let's move on. I don't know. God.
I want my plans to come through.
And your plants as well.
I heard plants first.
Plants.
They're doing good, by the way.
Yes, thriving. I can see them at the back.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
2 new plants.
Oh yeah, those were there
new.
before.
Oh, weren't they?
No, it was only 1 plant.
There's only one.
What do you mean, guys? Oh my gosh, another thing. 2020, definitely. I think since 2019, I've developed this kind of Peter Pan syndrome.
Never grow up.
Yeah. Like, unlike a lot of people, I didn't want to graduate from college and leave that free life. As the youngest in my family, I always had these older cousins, older siblings always telling me that like you got it so good being in school, you have no idea what the life real life is like. Like being jaded like that so early into life, I was like, I don't want to grow up. I just want to be a student. Even if I have this like the student kind of stress, I'm like, I think it's still better than the stress of the real world. So like that Peter Pan syndrome, now it's like it's become this fear of COVID taking away my early 20s. Cause like guys,
Yeah,
time is not gonna wait for
So
COVID to
true.
go away.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
so
true.
true.
Like at this point in time in my first job, I envisioned myself having so much fun, always traveling, like going wherever, backpacking. Me meeting a lot of new people, like I just wanted to party and like have fun in my early 20s. And look at us now. I can't even go out to like grab a meal with a friend.
Yeah, yeah,
Zoom
yeah.
party.
Zoom party,
Lunch.
like dance party in the shower, yes.
It's insane though. People send meals to people's houses so that they
Yeah, for
can
their
eat.
birthdays.
Oh,
Like
I
it's a
saw
whole
That's so
setup.
so
cute.
cute.
And people have like MCs and they have like this whole
what?
program flow. Yeah. Like they have like parang people who aren't necessarily part of the party who are hosting it, and then they have like all of these voice recorded or video recorded pre-show pakulo or whatever.
That's
It's insane.
intense.
Yeah, so when you think about it, like we really like just love to party, so we're trying to figure out ways to
People
continue it
get so
on.
creative.
The way people have adapted this year
Yeah,
has really been like so impressive.
so
Yeah.
true.
I think what's really great as well is that, these are things like these are innovations. People wanted it for so long. Like, how do we make it easier on people's lives? And then now, especially because we're forced into it, all of these things
That's
are
right.
allowed. I feel like there are a lot of things that have obviously been bad, but then a lot of good has come out of it as well. And it's really nice to see people just trying to bridge each other, whether that be businesses or
Oh
whether that be
yeah.
like all of these different events. Now people have ways to enjoy it with family members from across the whatever, and it's just
Annika.
Yeah.
yeah, I never would have thought that I'd be doing a podcast with my friends from the other side of the country and let alone world. So, and on a weekly basis, that's intense. I
I
never
know
thought I would
we're
commit to
seeing
this.
each other we're seeing each other more this year than I think
Exactly.
we have in the last 5, which
That's
is
so true. Oh my
strange.
gosh, I
Pretty
was playing
cool.
level 2 of We're Not Really Strangers with another friend, and I forgot
How
what question it
dare?
was. We got so bored, and I'm like, "Oh, do you want to play the game we played on the podcast?" So, anyways, I forgot the question, but like, I think my answer was like, "Oh, I got to see my friends more. Like, I got to see my childhood friends more." Cause, dude, in the past 5 years, I think I'd only see you guys for like a couple of times. I haven't even spoken to Annika for like what? Two
Yeah,
years?
Yeah.
Right?
So
true,
sorry,
true,
Annika.
true.
Oh my gosh.
Aaron, we have to make Aaron cry someday.
Yeah.
Is that a
I'm gonna find.
challenge?
Yes.
Find what
Just send
what
me one
makes
of
me
those
tick.
those videos where like it's like a surprise engagement.
Yeah.
Or like a army
Yeah. Oh
husband
my
coming home to
gosh.
his family.
I cry
No
every
fail.
time.
Or one of those like American Idol X Factor auditions with those
Backstories.
no
They all have
fail.
such sob stories.
Even
Right?
when I just hear people sing with
Oh my gosh, same.
everything, I'm like, I can't do
Okay, noted.
Okay.
it. Challenge me.
I think another thing is that in 2020 we were able to just take care of ourselves more. Yeah, I think especially that's something I never really thought I could do. I mean, I was very surface level in the sense of like caring for myself. I never really invested as much into like caring for myself in ways that um right now it feels a lot deeper. And you know that those are like your habits, the things that really get embedded in your daily routine. I always did it with other people, and now it's like now that I don't have access to other people, it's like the only time I can do that is when I'm by myself. And the concept was so foreign to me. Just the idea of putting in the time to do things like skincare. I haven't gotten into like really exercising by myself, but maybe one day. And eating
Baby steps.
yeah, eating better, even if I'm not sharing that meal with someone. Like even if it costs like a little more, I deserve it. That's like what I'm starting to tell myself. And I mean, yes, it's hard now, but makes it that much more important. I think that wow, even though I am supposed to cut some ties in the sense of like what I am going to spend on, I'm still making it an important thing to put money for myself. And
Yeah.
that's really interesting because I'm actually like earning money, right? So it's like it's such a big decision. Okay, this is for me.
Yeah, like it's a really conscious decision on your part to like invest
Mhm.
in something.
Yeah, and
And
it's
in
not even something I
yourself,
can.
which is
Yeah,
which is
and
so
it's like
important.
it's crazy. I never feel like I ever did that. Even like when I was in school, it was always just for the experience of being with other people.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
so proud of you for doing that now, Margie.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Like, come on. You work so hard.
Yeah, you do. You work overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, I have to.
Gotta go.
Okay, guys. Yeah, but what about you guys? Did any of you guys have any other like realizations in this like time of reflection?
I have this reoccurring question to myself. Like, is what I do now benefiting future me? Like, I don't know if this is the path I want to take. I don't know. It's like I'm so lost.
This
And I
really
don't
brings us back
No, I think
that what
I
do you really want to be conversation. Like,
yeah.
we don't even
After
know.
that convo, because you know how we're always overthinking the things we said after we do
Especially when you're the
any
one editing
episode.
it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I got to think like, oh my gosh, I have so much more to say.
yes, exactly. Like
Part
Part
two.
two.
like,
Part
damn.
two.
Right? I was
Yeah.
talking to Erin about this. I'm like, Erin, I wanted to be 30 under 30. And I didn't even say that. And I've wanted that all my life.
Part two.
Something
Part
about
two.
having the camera on makes you forget things.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
swear 10 minutes before this call I was in the shower. I was like, oh, this is a good idea. This is a good idea. And as soon as you hit record, it's like whoosh.
So, so true. I can relate so bad.
Like as you guys are talking, like I'm listening, but I'm also trying to like grab for some like something that I can hold on to anchor my thoughts.
Same.
I'm just swimming and drowning.
Okay,
Yeah. But
go
what you
ahead,
said
Nick.
was it's like such a simple sentence of like is what I'm doing right now in the path that you want in the future. I feel like that's so relatable. I feel like especially for me this year after school ended, it's
Mhm.
just like, oh, it's all up to me now, and it's up to me to make this general like map, I guess. And it's like we're all really in a way in the dark trying
Mhm.
to
Navigate
find our
through.
way. And the only way to do that, I guess, is to like that quote na the only way
Yeah.
out is through. You just have to experience it
Yeah, it's just
figure it out.
exactly like
Everything you go
it's
through,
so
like,
hard to experience things now too because of the pandemic.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's really limited.
We're stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And with every like experience point, you just have to get as much. You just have to get as much like information out of that, and like just think of like what you can learn out of each thing. Like that, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, whether it's like going towards the path that you want, but or not, at least like there's something learned. Okay, like that'll inform the next step, and then the next step. It's
Yeah.
not like a whole like clear path. It's
Mm-hmm.
just one step at a time, and I think that's something that this year has really taught
Oh,
us
yeah.
all.
It's
Yeah.
something my friend Brianne always says. She's always like, if you're having a hard time, just do it day by day, just one at a time, day by day.
Yeah,
And once you get through it, you'll be glad that you took it day by day. Just
Yeah.
one small thing after the other until you get through the big hump, and then you're like, wow, it's done, and
Yeah.
I'm still good, I'm still here.
which is what this whole year has kind of been like.
Mm-hmm.
We're still standing, like Marga said, and that's something to be so like grateful for.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
I
Mm.
feel like this year I've learned to be more thankful for everything that I have, like the small things, you know.
Yeah.
It's the things that you before prior to this I wouldn't have thought about, but then now that I have so much time, I'm suddenly like I'm thankful for family, I'm thankful
Yeah.
for my health, I'm thankful
Mm-hmm.
for the food that we have, the shelter, and I'm thankful that I get to work still, or you know, I get to learn still even if
Mm-hmm.
all of this is happening. And I'm thankful for this amazing support system like you guys.
Oh,
And you know, it's
same.
thoughts like that really pulled me out of dark points this year. And that is exactly what I want to end 2020 with, you know, just gratefulness, hope, and positivity.
So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of our podcast. As Erin mentioned, this is our last of the season, and that was just really crazy to say out loud because wow, we had a whole season. And I guess bouncing out of that, this whole of 2020 was definitely a season in itself. Something that we're really grateful for is each other, but also just all the huge amounts of blessings we've had just to get through it. And thank you so much to our family and just to everyone out there who have also just helped support us through this year. I think this year definitely was such a moment of reflection. And there's so many things that we learned in this long but short time. It's such a blip. And I can't even begin to say how finally we've made it to the almost end of 2020, and God help us, let's get through 2021 as well. And so yeah,
Yes.
Manifest it.
manifest it, enjoy it, and thank you so much for just spending the last how many episodes with us. We're so excited to hopefully do more content for you next season.
Yes.
Like and subscribe, and happy holidays again. Bye.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays.